שלום, כאן פיני שניר. ברוכים הבאים לחכמים ברכש. פודקאסט המופק בשיתוף המרכז הישראלי לרכש, בו אני מדבר עם מנכ"לים ובכירים נוספים בארגונים מובילים, על איך למנף את פעילות הרכש כדי להשיג את המטרות העסקיות של כל חברה. על שילוב מערכות טכנולוגיות מתקדמות לשדרוג פעילות הרכש, על רכש אסטרטגי במאה ה-21 ועוד ועוד. בכל פרק אני פוגש אדם מצליח מחברה מובילה. נכיר את הארגון שלו, נשמע את נקודת מבטו בנוגע להשגת המטרות העסקיות באמצעות הרכש, ונלמד איך הרכש יכול להביא עוד ערך לארגון. יהיה כיף. מוזיקה וקדימה, מתחילים. שלום, ברוכים הבאים לפרק נוסף של חכמים ברכש. הפעם יש לנו פרק מאוד מיוחד עם אורח שהגיע הישר מהולנד. שמו מרijn Overvest, והוא המנכ"ל של חברת Procurement Tactics, ואנחנו הולכים לדבר על הנושא הכי חם היום בעולם הרכש, שזה כלי AI לרכש. אני עובר עכשיו לאנגלית. And I would like to say hello to Marijn Overvest. Welcome to our episode of Wise in Procurement.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today.
It's really a pleasure. For me, also a great excitement because this is the first episode that we do in English, and I'm happy to host you today.
Nice. That's great. I'm happy to be the first one as your guest in English, and let's make it a great conversation today.
We will make it a great conversation, I'm sure. So before we dive into our hot topic today, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and about Procurement Tactics so the audience will know who you are?
Yes, of course. Let me shortly introduce myself. So first of all, it's an honor to be here. My name is indeed Marijn Overvest, and I'm the founder of Procurement Tactics. If you hear my voice breaking a bit today, it's because my wife and I recently got twin daughters. So a couple of months ago, we became parents of two lovely girls. But yeah, as you know, in the first years of having kids, you are having a cold like every month or so. So that's my voice breaking because of family situation. And yeah, when I think about work, I've worked in corporate world within procurement my entire life after I finished my master's. I really enjoyed working as a procurement professional from day onward. So why is sales perceived as sexy and procurement as boring? I truly disagreed from day one. And a couple of years ago, I found myself on this T-cross of either go left, become or stay a director within the corporate world, or go right, start Procurement Tactics. What we do at Procurement Tactics is that we upskill procurement professionals from all over the world to get better results on a daily basis. And I left the corporate world because out of love for procurement and the love of upskilling people. So with Procurement Tactics, we offer online courses on sustainability, on AI in procurement, on negotiations. But let's not be here to sell my company. I'm here to discuss AI in procurement with you. So let's deep dive into that, Pini.
Perfect. And you know, it's very interesting the way that you chose your route to, instead of being part of a corporate, try to change the world by teaching, guiding, and giving additional people knowledge how to perform their work better. So that's really a good and interesting way of moving forward. And let's dive in. So is AI going to change our world? What do you think?
This is a good question, and of course the answer is yes. So as the founder of Procurement Tactics, I speak on conferences I think on a monthly basis. So this year I've been to Dubai, to Singapore, and to South Africa to share my thoughts and my propositions on how will AI change the world of procurement. And I think that one of the most important questions people start with asking me is, Dear Marijn, dear team of Procurement Tactics, is AI going to replace us as procurement professionals?
I can tell you that I hear this very often. People are afraid from things that they do not know,
True.
and they fear that maybe this tool can take their job.
Yes, indeed. And my honest answer is no, it will not replace us. I think that in the next 20 or 30 minutes, we will discuss why my answer is no. But no, it will not. But be cautious. Make sure to jump on the train that has already left, and to make sure that from a procurement professional's perspective, that you know how to leverage large language models. Because if you don't, you will not be future-proof ready, and then you might have a chance to be replaced by AI. But if you know how to leverage its potential to your advantage rather than seeing it at the risk now, you will be expert proof ready. So, and I think that our conversation in the next minutes will help procurement professionals from Israel, from all over the world, to know how.
So maybe you can give to start with an example of how to use AI in a professional way
Yeah.
to make your abilities as a procurement manager better.
Yeah. So let me answer that twofoldly. So I think that what is the biggest opportunity for, I would say, if you would start leveraging the potential of Gen AI from tomorrow onwards, is the personal productivity part. So you can do, while using generative AI quite good, you can do more tasks, you can do tasks faster, and you can come up with tasks with a higher quality output. So that's what I call, I would say, the personal productivity part. Then, if you look at the procurement part, and we train procurement teams from all over the world, and I know that per company the steps can differ a bit, but in general, every procurement team follows 7 or 5 steps. The steps are: make sure that you do market research to know the market. Then you ask suppliers, either in an RFI or in an RFP, can you make sure to provide me with details on if you can deliver the goods or the
Yes.
service? Then you will do an RFQ, RFP to check pricing. Then you'll start your negotiation preparation, the negotiation itself. And then, of course, you are going to create a contract. And after the contract, you're going to work on supplier relationship management. And every year, the cycle starts again.
Um,
Why do I introduce these steps? Not to
Marijn,
bore you.
I just want to ask, um, when you mention those steps,
Yeah.
uh, is there any step out of these steps that the AI can benefit more than others?
Yes, for sure. So I think that especially for the parts where you do labor intensive work from a procurement perspective, so the administrative parts of the process, these I would say can be replaced by AI, and either if it's Gen AI or AI agents, which we probably will run into later. But if you look at the RFI phase, the RFQ phase, the contract phase, there's 3 steps which are heavily, I would say, administrative consuming. AI
Yes.
will I will play a more and more important role in those steps, which frees up time. So in that sense, I'm a fan of using Gen AI. And why? Because what do procurement professionals hate? Administrative tasks. What do they love? Is to negotiate with people and to have the best supplier relationships possible. If you can find more time by automating these tasks with Gen AI, you can find more time to negotiate and to work together with your suppliers. So, short answer to your question: RFI, RFQ, and contract management. These steps will be heavily influenced by Gen AI very soon.
All right. So sounds good. I can contribute that from my perspective, I'm using a lot the AI tools that I'm using while doing negotiation preparation.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Well, for me, I'm putting within the tool the situation I'm in and giving all the information. And we will talk later a little bit more about sensitive information and how to avoid uh, putting sensitive information into the word information, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to be as general as possible, but still give the relevant information. And then I'm asking the AI tool to simulate the negotiation.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we are just playing a role play where I am uh, in my position,
Hmm.
and the AI tool is the other party, and we are
Yeah.
having a discussion.
Yeah, yeah, that's smart. And I see procurement professionals from all over the world using Gen AI tools, like let's say, which are the ones that are the most popular. Of course, it's mainly ChatGPT, but also others. So I think that I see people doing this, especially for the negotiation role play perspective, because it helps you to be ready for potential challenges that can occur within the negotiation. So yeah, excellent example, and I've seen this around the world. Yeah.
And I can tell you that once doing that, I get some perspectives that I didn't know that exist. And
No.
sometimes I stop the simulation and I ask, yes, in my case, also ChatGPT,
Hmm.
what are the hidden interests that the supplier have that I should be aware of, and
Indeed.
how can I give the supplier um, some things to fulfill his interests in order
Yeah,
to make a successful negotiation.
indeed. Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah. So doing all of these is very, very important. We have
Mhm.
covered the 7 steps.
Yeah.
How about contracts? What do you think? How can AI help us with contracts?
Yeah, so if I look back at my old role working as a procurement professional, the steps from closing a deal towards the contract. First, I shook hands with the supplier in a room. Then I shared with them an email on what did we agreed upon. We kind of had a fight on that always because when you think that you close a deal in person, to put
Yes.
it on paper in email is step one. Then the next step after that is to internally brief our team, which was the lead of the creation of the contracts on how to create the contract. Then they had to do that based on the email that I shared with them. They shared it with me internally to review, and step six is that externally it will be reviewed. If you look at the way that Gen AI can help us to automate all these steps, it will free up time. Why? It will remove steps. So the steps between me emailing a supplier, supplier emailing back, me briefing internally. So in that sense, I think it will. If you would work in a contract management team somewhere within the world, I would be worried because AI can help procurement managers to set up contracts faster, to check contract faster for, I would say, threats or things that you should put a bit differently in the contract when it comes to wording. So, of course, what we've seen, for example, in the Netherlands, is that if you are working as an advocate, legal advice has been taken over a bit by AI. Of course, it still remains the checking part of legal, but it becomes less and less so. I think that from a contract legal perspective and from the creation perspective, AI will help procurement professionals to do their tasks better and faster.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that it does not eliminate the need for legal review, but it
Correct?
really helps the legal to focus on the main things while we, as procurement professionals, remove all other obstacles.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, that's good. Um, I'm thinking about other ways to use AI, and I would like to ask your perspective related to market research. When you are doing some sourcing, you are looking for something. How can AI help here?
Yeah.
And what would be your take on that?
Yeah, so for example, in the past, I used to be the procurement manager of canned tomatoes. So, of course, when AI came into the world, I directly asked to ChatGPT which top 10 canned tomato suppliers are there. in the end, it came up with a great list, comprehensive, and that was already in the early phases. So apologies to that. The people that started from the beginning know why this voice is breaking. So I use it partly for supply research, but you can also use it for inspirational ways on which questions do I need to answer when I work on my market research. Sometimes you're just looking for suppliers. Then it's easy. You go to the to Gen AI platforms and you just Google for suppliers, or you prompt for suppliers. In that sense, I mainly use it for inspirational perspective as well. So which questions do I need to answer when it comes to supplier research? And then I help. So it's not only with direct results, but it also helps with indirect results.
Yeah, I agree. What about a situation where you get information which is not really true from the AI tool? It is something we should be aware of.
Yeah, for sure. So in the end, you should, I would say, use all AI tools for inspirational purposes, but never, I would say, trust it in that way that it's the truth. So always do a fact check. What is well known, and of course, with training the algorithms, it gets better and better, but AI hallucinates. AI is nothing more than Gen AI is large language model is nothing more than just predicting words. So in that sense, sometimes it hallucinates. I think that if you look at threats, I think that the main threat is that it hallucinates. And a different threat, and I know that this is something that always comes up in discussions like this as well, is how do you make sure that you don't put in sensitive information, right? I think
Yes.
that that is a bridge to an important question as well. To give you one example, of course, anonymously, we trained a procurement team in the United States where one of their procurement managers came to us very proudly to share that it was a he in this instance, to share that he made a supplier comparison of the contracts by dragging in 10 of his major contracts within ChatGPT.
Okay.
The outcome of the analysis is great, but of course, rookie mistake, never do this, because if you do not want to make your competitors smarter, always make sure, and this is within ChatGPT, for example, possible, to make sure that the button is turned on where you say, with my information, don't train the algorithm. For
Yes.
example, what was another thing within the news in the Netherlands last week? WhatsApp, where everyone uses it in Europe. And I know that in America people use WhatsApp, but also mainly iMessage. Meta, who is the owner of WhatsApp, they implemented AI within their software. But if you didn't turn off the tool was trained with all the chats that you were having with your friends. So in that sense, always be cautious. Who is able to access the information that you put in? That comes to procurement professionals, especially when it comes to sensitive supplier information.
Yeah. I totally agree, and I want to say it again because this is one of the most dangerous things. Please do not share any sensitive information while you are chatting with your AI tool, and make sure that the button within the settings of the system is turned off. Do not
Yeah,
share my information for training the algorithm.
indeed,
It's
indeed. Yeah,
important to say it
for
again and
sure.
again.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right, so let's move on to another topic, which is within the area of AI,
Yeah,
which is AI agents. So
yeah, hot
can,
topic,
can
hot
you please
topic.
explain what agents are?
Yeah. So actually, if I look at the procurement teams that we train, I think that the majority of them is still using generative AI, the large language models, for inspirational use for personal productivity, which I shared in the beginning. And then the second step is to incorporate using that within their steps of the procurement process.
Okay,
So the majority of the teams is still experimenting with this. Then, of course, and it's good that you bring it up, we have AI agents. And here's a funny thing that I saw is I see many procurement tech companies launching their projects and their AI agents for procurement. But to be honest, on the other side, I don't see procurement teams that are ready yet to use that fully.
Wow.
I'm sure they are there, but the majority still uses Gen AI for the first two steps, which I just mentioned. If I look at the
Uh, uh,
difference between,
Marijn, just one question.
yeah,
Do you have any understanding why this is the situation?
I think that especially the larger companies, they tend to focus more on the threats of using AI rather than the opportunities.
Hmm.
So I think that the larger the company becomes, they first wanted to have an AI usage policy. Then they started to contract either Microsoft with ChatGPT, or either Outlook with their AI agent. So I think that it starts with the policy. Then it came, okay, who do we contract then to make sure that we let teams experiment with it rather than already putting it into practice everywhere. Where I see that the smaller companies, they tend to use it more on a daily basis and they leverage the potential way more. So if you look at the difference between large language models or, for example, ChatGPT and AI agents, let me explain it from the personal perspective, right? So
Okay.
if you will just use Gen AI for your next prompt, it's a chat. So if you would just have a question to ask to ChatGPT, it's a chat and it's a prompt, right? An AI agent tool, if that keeps working towards a goal without you typing again, then it is an agent. And I will give two examples later. And then if the AI agent tool only fixes a fixed recipe, it's classic automation and it's not an AI agent. So take, for example, how can an AI procurement agent help us from a procurement perspective?
Yes.
It is that and I will also explain the difference with ChatGPT, for example. If I would get an RFI back from a supplier tomorrow, I could upload the Excel in ChatGPT and I could ask, make an analysis on it. Then I would still need to guide ChatGPT with how to do that, etc., etc. What an AI agent will do for me is that it will skip tasks. So what an AI agent will do, let's call this an RFI agent. What an
Okay.
RFI agent will do for me without me doing anything is that it will receive the RFI, it will check the RFI, it will potentially email the suppliers if there would be information missing, and it would also directly email the supplier with me in CC. Thank you for uploading the RFI. We've checked it thoroughly, but you've missed information. Please provide it back to me. The same accounts for an RFQ. It could already, without me knowing that the supplier would have prepared it and sent it to me, could do an automated, I would say, comparison on pricing between 5 suppliers and email me, I would say, the conclusions. So an RFI agent is nothing more than me to, I would say, an, an tool that helps you to remove parts in any process. But that is if you would use it from an external perspective.
Yes.
From an internal perspective, we have trained actually a large global retailer very recently on how to use AI agents for internal purposes. And that is, for example, the negotiation preparation AI agent, which basically on the back end linked all kinds of important resources to them to help their procurement managers to prepare for their negotiation. So what did that AI agent had? It was just a combination of supplier information, contract information, internal information on margin, sales, etc., etc. And the combination of those three help the procurement team to prepare for their negotiation. So AI agents can, on one end, skip tasks which you have to do manually, and on the
Yes.
other part, I would say it can help you internally if you would set up it only internally to train your team members. Take, for example, McKinsey, who I know that has their assistant, Zara. It's just their AI agent who helps them to train their consultants on which advice to give to which clients. So in that sense, do many teams already use AI agents? No. Am I sure that they are going to use it within the next 2 years? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any danger using these agents, something maybe related to doing some work which we cannot control? What do you think?
I think that especially for the larger companies, they have their data breaches, data policies, data privacy policies, which should be respected. So
Okay.
in that sense, that is a risk that the policy comes in the way of clear and effective I would say, short-term results. But yeah, to make this personal, if you will be working in procurement, and if you have to ask yourself 3 questions to make sure to understand if an AI agent in procurement could help you. So look at your to-do list and ask yourself 3 questions. Does this happen regularly that I have to do this? 2, does this to-do follow a clear sequence of steps? And question number 3, would it free up meaningful time for me if it would happen without me? If you can answer these questions, and especially on the third one, the answer is yes, then it will be valuable to ask your company to invest in creation of an AI procurement agent because it can free up time. I know that many procurement professionals are not there yet, but if you are the one that is tech savvy and you want to be ahead of your game, then ask yourself these 3 questions and go to work tomorrow to work on that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that from my own perspective,
Yeah.
I've tried a little bit
Uh-huh.
to create agents.
Yeah.
It's not very difficult. I did
No.
not do any very complex ones,
No.
but it's fun
Yeah,
creating
man.
them and
Yeah.
then see the results.
Yeah.
So we have like a few minutes left,
Yeah.
and I would like to ask 2 questions.
Yeah.
Just want to summarize a little bit about prompting,
Yeah.
and then to understand a little bit about your perspective moving forward and what future will bring us. So,
Yeah. Sure.
could you give some guidelines to our audience about prompting, how to do it right?
Yeah, so I think that very important for how to prompt correctly is to make sure that you give as much input as possible in your prompt as needed. So if you would just ask a question on, I need to present tomorrow on category management, provide me with a slide deck, it will give you an answer back, but never as good as possible. But if you would say, okay, I'm flying to Vietnam this Monday to host a workshop on category management for this client, these are the challenges of these clients, and these are the goals that I want to have succeed by the end of the workshop. Can you provide me with a storyline, which are the things that I need to incorporate? Then it will help you way better. So, and the same accounts for negotiation preparation, the same accounts for market research. The more input you give, the better. Actually, the team of Procurement Tactics created a free resource that people that would like to have that just drop me an email or add me on LinkedIn to request that, because we have a prompting template which people can use
Oh,
where
that's
we have
great.
just listed over 50 prompts to put in AI to make sure that you can leverage the potential. So it's giving more input before asking the question, and it is always ask AI, ChatGPT, to give 3 follow-up questions to you before the answer is there. So those 2 tips will be really helpful. And on all the tips, I have the PDF for you waiting. So if your audience wants to have that, they can contact me.
Okay, so for these 3 follow-up questions, this is something new for me. I will
Yeah,
definitely try to use it.
yeah,
Um,
nice.
there is something also I'm doing when I'm prompting.
Yeah,
I'm giving the AI tool an identity. For example, if we are
yeah,
preparing for a negotiation, I'm telling him, you are an expert in negotiation, especially in the field of this and this and this. And this gives a focus to the tool to give me better answering.
Indeed. No, for sure. No, that's also a great tip. Yeah.
Good. So let's look at the future. What do you think will happen? Where we're going to?
Yeah. So the future is always very hard to predict. Let me start with that open door directly, but let's zoom out a bit. So the first part of AI that entered the world is mainly for individual use, right? So the majority of the procurement professionals that use it, again, use it for personal perspective, inspiration, better tasks, how to incorporate it within the 7 or 5 steps of the procurement process. Then, so all the investments have been made to make it personal and perfect.
Okay.
Now, where you see all the investments in Silicon Valley and the rest of the world, also in Israel, I know, and in the Netherlands are going through, is how can we leverage the potential of Gen AI more for teams? So, of course, it started with personal angle. Now the investments are being made in the team perspective. I know that all the large players within the world of procurement tech, GEP, Ariba, SAP, Zycus, they all have been investing in AI tooling to help teams, but it is still, I would say, in the children's shoes. Not to blame or to, I don't hope I make enemies with the top 4 guys that I just mentioned, but of course they are incorporating it, but it still needs to be refined. So the second step is that more and more teams will use AI tooling. And then I would say on the personal side again, to answer that, agents will help procurement professionals to automate more personalized tasks. So in that sense, it will help them to be more effective while working. So in that sense, I think that the future will bring us better tooling for procurement teams, which are AI based.
Yes.
And the future will bring us more agents that will help us from a personal perspective again to do tasks faster and even better without thinking ourselves, but only checking.
Well, I would say that we will see how this evolves, and this was a very, very, very interesting discussion about the revolution that we are now within it.
Yes.
To hear your perspective on AI for procurement, and I just want to say thank you very much for your time and your perspective. It's really insightful, and I will put on the notes for this chapter, also your email address and the website of your company. So the audience that would like to get in touch with you can do that easily from this part.
Yeah,
So
perfect. No, that's great. Thank you very much. Indeed, we also have courses on AI in procurement, so it's an honor to help procurement directors and individuals to upskill themselves. It was a pleasure being here today with you. Thank you very much for the great warm introduction and the conversation, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you and your audience.
Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you very much. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. חכמים ברכש הופק בשיתוף המרכז הישראלי לרכש בניהולו של ארז לוי.